Good evening, believers. How are you doing today? This is Love Coach Dasha coming to you today for the Healing Hour Live. Now, if you've never been with me before, I do something a little bit different. I help women who are trying to stay and reconcile and heal and be together with the person who cheated on them. I know it sounds like a crazy thing, but plenty of women around here who want to stay, who want to work it out, but just don't know exactly how to do that, how to get past this trauma to a better place with their boo. And I am here to teach you all about it, all right? Because I personally know, because I've personally done it. I had the person. My husband is my person. Um, been my person for a very, very long time. And I wanted to be together. I wanted to stick it out after he had issues with cheating. And I figured out a formula. I figured out the way to go about it. So I want to tell you all about it. Now, if you got my email before this live, there is a link in the email for you to get my special guide for healing and reconciling after infidelity, which is the dreams formula. Please go ahead and sign up for that. Get yourself a copy of it. Look over it. If you've got questions about it, if you got issues with it, you're like, oh, this doesn't make sense to me. Dasha, explain this to me. I have no problem helping you with that. So definitely pick up your copy. And let's see, right now, let me see. Let me put it in the comments. I think I can. I think I can. One second. There we go. All right, so it's down in the comments right now if you're on Facebook or on YouTube and Instagram. I will make sure that it is in my what's it called? Link tree. There you go. All right, so I want you to get a copy of this because I'm trying to tell you this is the path. This is what I did myself personally to get down the healing path, to get to a better place. It is 16 years later with me and my honey, and I'm trying to tell you it's better and better and better every year. The pain is gone, all right? Where it used to hurt so bad in my chest, that place is gone, all right? Every day, more and more love flows through us and to us. It is a beautiful thing. It can work, okay? I know other people will try and discourage you. I am here to encourage you. I believe in your love as much as you believe in it, all right? I believe that this can work, and I want to tell you exactly how to do it, all right? So let me make sure I'm not missing any comments. If you're here with me, make sure that you're giving me lots of likes, lots of love. Oh, there was an error. Error over here on Instagram. It's just not working. Keeps going 3, 2, 1, and then not waking up. I don't know what that is. Oh, I'm not on the Wi-Fi. That probably would help, wouldn't it? Oh, I tell you what. Go over here quicker. Trying to tell you, man. All the technology. I thought that one was on the internet, but that's all right. Screw it. This one is. All right. There we go. And live on Instagram. All right. So, ladies, if you have not gotten a copy of the healing journey, hey, over there on Instagram. Hi, glad I finally got myself together. But let me know if you want to get a copy of the Dreams Formula, the exact steps that I use to get on down the healing path. I want you to have that. Make sure you link up with me for that. All right. All right. Don't have any comments that I can see, but definitely make sure that you give me likes and comments and lots of love and let the algorithm know that you want to hear from me. Okay. All right. I see y'all coming on in on Facebook. Hey. Glad you're here. Glad you're here. All righty, ladies. So we're gonna start where we always start. We're gonna do the basics, and I got some good questions. I am gonna go in depth in what I think it was Karen asked me about a little bit earlier. We're gonna dive into it. We're gonna get in depth into these questions in a little bit, but I got to start with the basics. I always got to start with the things that I want you to be doing every day. All right. These are the things that are going to start to help you with the trauma. You have been traumatized by your person. Your person has done this terrible thing and you've been traumatized by it. You have to start getting back in control of yourself after the trauma. Okay, that's the main reason that we're here today, is getting back in control of yourself after the trauma. So what I want you to do is start doing these things that I'm about to tell you, about to show you. If you've not been doing them every single day, if you haven't been with me and you've never heard this before, if you've been with me before and you just haven't been doing it, I need you to commit to it. All right. Is the very beginning of April. We can change things by the summer. The summertime can come and you can feel better. So just start working on it. Just start from here and we can get to a better place by the time of summer. All right. So the first thing I want you to do is do your deep breathing. Have you been doing your deep breathing? If you have not been doing your deep breathing, you are doing yourself a disservice, because that is the key number one thing that changes when you're traumatized, is the way you breathe. Okay. I was a nurse for 20 years. Everybody who is in pain breathes differently. Everybody who's anxious and stressed out breathes differently. If you get back in control of how you're breathing, you trick your brain into thinking that you're all right, that things are okay, that you are calm, you are in control. All right. Just practicing it, just doing it consistently throughout your days. I want you to be doing this 5 times a day, okay? Do your deep breathing, convince your brain that you are in control and that you are safe. All right, that's what I need you to do. So, we do 4-7-8 breathing. Now, I don't care what kind of breathing you do, as long as you are doing it 5 times a day. I don't care. I don't care how you do it. But on my YouTube channel, there is a video that leads you through the deep breathing if you want to follow along with me. All right. Hey, Lou, I see you over there on Instagram. Hi, girl. Glad you're here. Have you been doing your deep breathing? I know you practice. But we've got to be doing this. We've got to be consistent about this. All right. Do your deep breathing. So we do 4-7-8. Doesn't matter what pattern you normally use, as long as you are doing it inhaling fully, exhaling carbon dioxide. That's what we're trying to do. All right. The 4-7-8, what we're going to do is blow out. Then we're going to inhale through the nose if you can, because I got, allergies. But if you can breathe through your nose, fine. If it's through your mouth, it's okay. Breathe in for a count of 4. Hold that breath for a count of 7. And then we're going to blow out like we're blowing out a whole kit full of birthday candles for a count of 8. All right. We're going to do this 3 times together just because of time. All right. But usually five times a day. All right. So what we're going to do is the first blow out, and make the noise when you blow out, people. Make that be a trigger in your brain that when you do that, you are getting in control of yourself. You feel like you are safe. You don't need your brain to freak out at this time when you do that. All right. When you do that consistently, you will train your brain that that is what you're doing now. You are getting in control of yourself. You do not need help. You do not need autopilot. All right. So we're going to blow out, inhale for 4, hold for 7, blow out for 8. Okay. You ready? First things first, blow out. Inhale through the nose. 2, 3, 4. Hold it. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Blow out. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Again, inhale. 2, 3, 4. Hold it. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Blow out. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Last time. Inhale. 2, 3, 4. Hold it. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Blow out. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Lovely. Wonderful. How you do when you're doing your deep breathing? How does it feel when you're doing it? Let me know. Give me some comments. What does it feel like in your body? Because that's what we're focusing on, okay? When we are trying to overcome the trauma, we are trying to overcome the feelings inside of our body that make us feel triggered, make us feel traumatized. If we can start to do our deep breathing, calm ourselves, use that deep breathing to get our heart rates down, get our blood pressure down. It should start to make you feel good in the moment. All right, let me know about it. Do you feel a little bit better when you're doing your deep breathing? Let me know. All right, I don't see any comments so far. So far. All right, next thing that I'm always going to tell you to do every single time we meet, my darling, is do your journaling. Have you been doing your journaling? I'm trying to tell you, you need to sit down and do your journaling. It doesn't matter what kind of journal you use, doesn't matter what kind of pen you use. It is important that it is paper and pencil. I understand that, a lot of people journal on their phones nowadays. That's great. But there is something about putting pen to paper, about taking the ideas out of your head and putting them down on that paper that shows your brain that this is a real tangible thing now. It is out here in the universe. I don't have to keep talking to you about this same problem because you wrote it down. You're paying attention. Thank you very much. Your brain is excited when you write things down. It says that this is important to you when you write it down. All right. And it's going to be important to you because you need that journal. As you are healing, you're going to be able to go into your journal. You're going to be able to find triggers, times, dates. You're going to be able to piece things together that you have never pieced together before because you're using your journal as an adjunct to your memory. You are helping yourself remember better as you are writing this stuff down. All right. All right. Use your journal. First thing in the morning, about 5 minutes. Right before you go to bed, about 5 minutes. You do not need to write a novel. And nobody said you have to write for hours. 5 minutes in the morning, 5 minutes before bed, whatever is most important, right there on the surface, write that part down. If there's something, that's coming up in that day, you're like, oh, I'm a little anxious, I'm a little triggered about this, write a little bit about that. How are you going to handle that trigger? How are you going to behave yourself out of this feeling? Before you go to bed, if there's a troubling thought, write it down in your journal, put it down, tell your brain, hey, we're going to have to work on this while I'm asleep. You work on that problem, I'm going to sleep. And then when we get up, you let me know what you came up with. Your brain will do it. Okay? Your brain will follow the instructions. It's an employee. You got to start treating it like such. Okay? Date time, level of anxiety. We need level of anxiety every single solitary time we open our journal. All right. Every time you write it, first before you start, and then after you finish writing. You want this to show you, number one, from beginning to end, how good the journaling is for you, how much it changes your perspective, how much it calms you down. All right. So that's the first and most important thing. But it's also a good indicator of how well you're actually healing. You will notice trends. You will see that, oh, I was way up here on like nines on a regular basis, but now, all right, I'm on like 6 7s now. I'm doing better. I am not, you can give yourself grades on how you're feeling. And then when you come back later on, you will recognize, oh, hey, I was way up there before. I was really super anxious before, but now I'm not so anxious now. Things are getting better. All right. It's very hard to see in the moment when you're in this pain, when you're in this trauma, that things are getting better. So if you're writing it down in your journal, you have something to reinforce your memory and to show you numerically that things are getting better. Does that make sense? You let me know if that sounds crazy. Jody, I see you over there on Instagram. Hey, girl, glad you're here. All right, so level of anxiety, 0 to 10. 0 is no anxiety whatsoever. All is right with the world. You are okay. All right, write those days down. You want to write down the 0 days. You want to write down the days where there is no pain, no pressure, no stress. You are feeling wonderful. You want to write that down. Then there is a 10. A 10 is an absolute loss of control. A 10 is rip my hair out, tear my clothes off, run screaming down the street naked. That is a 10. If you are not at a 10 in throwing stuff and screaming and flipping the hell out, you're not at a 10. Johnny, you said you're at a 7 right now. Do your deep breathing. Did you do your deep breathing? You missed that part. Do your deep breathing, Jody. Bring it down. Get control over that. Tell your brain what you want it to do. Let your brain know. Look. I am not in any danger right now. Everything is okay. I am all right. And do your journaling. I'm glad you're here with me. Come talk to me too. All right. So that's the second thing. Do your journaling. Do your deep breathing. Third thing. Be grateful. Joni, right now, come up, give me 3 things that you're grateful for right now, Joni. I'm trying to tell you, it redirects your brain so much better when you're thinking about the things that you should be grateful for. You said it's almost a year and it's heightened. Yeah. And that anniversary reaction is a thing. Let remind myself to come back to that. The anniversary reaction. And of course, I can't find a pen right off the bat. Oh, there we go. Gotta write that down and come back to that. We're gonna talk about that a little bit too. Anniversary reaction. All right, we're gonna talk about that. Show you how to get up out of that. You said, okay, all right, you got some things to be grateful for. Everybody that's watching me, everybody that's here with me, give me a couple of things. Give me at least 2 or 3 things that you were grateful for today. Give me some Thirsty Thursday good news, all right? But Joni said, my grandson's new job and therapy, all right? Your grandson's therapy or your therapy? Or both. It's lovely when everybody can go to therapy. Girl, it's a beautiful thing. I spent a lot of time in therapy when I was young. My mother really believed in therapy. And I had issues, and I spent a ton of time in therapy when I was like a teenager, and I think that helped a ton with my own issues. You know, I learned a lot from therapy that I apply into my grown up years. So, you know, if your grandson needs a little therapy, that's a good thing. But you say your therapy, excellent. I am glad that you're getting some therapy. You're feeling good about that. That is a thing to be grateful for. Isn't that a wonderful thing? Grandson is 8 months old Sunday and just the best little man. I bet he is. Oh, I'm excited about the prospect of grandchildren. I'm trying not to get too excited about it because my son's only 16. My daughter is like, no. So I'm gonna have to wait for him to give me grandchildren. And he's too young yet. But oh, I can't wait. I can't wait. Their little squishy selves. Oh goodness. 8 months old. Oh. I know you are just dying. I know you are just all over those cheeks. Elise said, I lost almost 20 pounds. Go ahead, girl. I bought a new car. Oh, and we have a getaway coming up next weekend. Life is good. Ain't it, Elise? Ain't it? It's so funny. Even in the worst of times, when the worst of things have happened to you, there are still good things. I want you to be doing that. That's why I do Thirsty Thursday. I want you to remind yourself about all the things that you can be grateful for. Even in the worst of situations, you can find something to be grateful for in that situation, and it will show you the contrast of, well, yes, you could feel bad, but there's also things to feel good about. So let's go with good. Let's run with the good, right? Doesn't it make more sense to try and stick with the good stuff than the bad stuff? I honestly, it's a little bit easier for me, but it's very easy if you haven't been training your brain for your brain to say, oh, I want to look at the bad stuff. I got to give you warnings about the bad stuff. I got to tell you this bad stuff is going to happen. And if you don't listen to me, we're going to have a freak out. I know that your brain wants to do that, but as you train for this, as you change this, as you heal, as you reconcile, you will be able to tell your brain, hey, no, we want to go for the good stuff. We want to remember the good things that are happening, not just the bad things that have happened. We want to go to the good things. As you train your brain to do that, then your brain will start serving you up more of the good things. But you got to train. You got to work on that. All right. Oh, gratefulness. It is an incredibly easy way to get out of misery. is to find things to be grateful for. If you are miserable, you just don't know how you're going to deal with this. You don't know how you're going to get to the next step. Find the thing that you're grateful for. Every time it will start to show you the way up out of the hole. Every single time. All right. So that's three things. And then the fourth thing that I'm always going to tell you that most of the experts tell you that is not true. But I'm going to tell you right now, this is what you need to do. You need to stop asking all those damn questions. I know you want to ask the questions. Everything in you wants to say, hey, if I don't have the answers to these questions, I can't heal. That is absolutely crap. It really is. It is not true at all. You can absolutely heal without having all the answers to all those questions. I promise you, you can. All right. You do not need to suffer more in order to heal because that's what the idea is. Your brain is like, oh, here, let me hear all about all of the suffering and then I'll heal from there. I'm just going to hit rock bottom and dig a little bit and then see if I can get myself back up from there. Why do that? Why not start at a better place and then start to come up? And okay, as you start to heal, as you start to reconcile, you do start to find out some of the answers to those questions. So when you do find those answers out, we're not hitting bedrock and going further down. We are coming back down a little bit and then we're going back up. We're moving up and moving on, even after we've had those conversations. It is a lot easier to try and do that than to try to start from, oh, I know all of the information, all of the most painful points. It's all weighing down on me. And then I'm going to try and get up. Then I'm going to try and heal up from that. Why? Why make it harder on yourself? That's ridiculous. Let's not do that. Stop asking all the questions. All right. It is the key number one thing that is going to start to help you heal because as you don't ask these questions, you start to heal the rut in your brain developed by this trauma. The trauma keeps telling you, we got to have the answers. And then you get the answer and then you suffer. And then you're like, well, I got to have more answers to make sure that I'm done suffering. And then you get more answers and then you suffer some more. It doesn't stop, okay? We don't need to do this. We don't need to continue to do this. It's an unhealthy thing. I do indeed believe that full disclosure right after, as you're trying to heal, is a terrible idea. It is a terrible idea. It's going to tear you down, and you can't focus on healing with all that information in your brain, okay? We need to start from, okay, yes, we know that he cheated. Yes, we know that part. We do not need all to know all the minute that details and minutia in it. We do not need to know that. That is not necessary. It's just going to stress us out. All right. You got to start the healing path. And then as you're going down the healing path, you will find out so much more. My husband, even now to like this in the last 6 months or so, had an idea about what was happening then. He was able to explain something to me about what happened then that he had no grasp of until 16 years. It's 16 years later. He did not have a grasp of it until now. Okay. So if you're trying to find out all the answers, you're not. You're not. There's so much pain, so much trauma, so much confusion that you can't absorb all the answers and he can't provide all the answers. All right. If we're already in that place, let's stop asking all these questions and start working towards healing together. Does that make sense? You all let me know if that sounds crazy. I know the full disclosure thing, they tell you that's the thing that you gotta have. Honey, I'm trying to tell you, it makes it worse. All right. All of the questions being answered. I asked all the questions. I love a question. Okay. I will ask a question in a heartbeat. And honey, let me tell you, whoo, it is exhausting once you have got all those answers. You got all those answers, and then there are a million miles in your brain, all of this information just bouncing back and forth, and you can't focus on your healing. All you can focus on is, oh, but what about this? And he said this, and how does he feel? It gets too confusing. So instead of that, instead of asking a whole bunch of questions about the affair that you really don't want to know the answer to that are not going to help you heal anyway, all right? Instead of listening to your brain about answering those questions, which your brain is doing a service for you, it is your brain's way of trying to sort through data so that you don't get hurt again. It keeps asking questions. Okay, if your brain is itching and you gotta ask a question, this is a lot better to do. All right. This is the and, TheAnd, the and. You can look it up on Amazon. It's about $30 for this game, and it is well worth it. Okay. I have been giving you cards from this for about 2-3 years now. I don't think we have gotten through every single card in the deck. I don't. What it is this is questions that you can ask one another about healing. And if you don't want to answer the question, you look into the other person's eyes for 10 seconds and then you say pass. Even in the moments where you're not answering the question, you're still connecting. All right? Does that make sense? So I want you to ask these questions instead of the questions that you want to ask if you must ask a question. Still, don't ask questions. But if your brain is just itching and you feel like you have to ask a question, use these instead. All right. Karen, don't be sorry you're late. I'm just glad you're here. You're saying you're going to say we need to forgive ourselves. I know personally I said or acted out of my character. The trauma was unbelievable. Girl, we are going to dive into that because I got like 3 pages about why you should forgive yourself over here. So we're going to dive into that for sure, because I do want you to have forgiveness. I do want you to have some sense of closure about that because you should be able to forgive yourself for wanting love in your life. Anyway, I'll come back to that. Hold on just a second. All right, so these are a few of the questions. 2-3 cards. You don't need a ton of cards if you want to ask questions. These are good for conversation. So you can answer the questioning and it kind of flows after that. So the first one says, in what ways do you think you perceive life differently than I do? Oh, that's an interesting question. In what ways do you think you perceive life differently than I do? Isn't that an interesting question? That is a very good question to ask. That is not about the affair. It is not about his feelings about this other person. If you want to get close to each other, if you want to reconnect, you got to reconnect about things about your relationship, about the two of you, not about what he has done. All right. Another one is, what makes me me? Isn't that an interesting question? Wouldn't you like to know what he says? My husband might say something dirty. especially after this morning. But what makes me me? Wouldn't that be an interesting thing to know that he thinks about you? Like, wouldn't you want to know that more than did you tell her you loved her? Isn't that a much better question to ask? I think so. And then, how do we handle conflict differently? And what's the advantage in that? Because it's not always a bad thing to handle conflict differently. All right. If you never learned and you handle it by screaming, but he did learn and he doesn't handle it that way at all. He speaks more calmly, he speaks more respectfully, he slows it down. That's an advantage because now you see an example of something that you didn't see before. All right. So, gotta know, how do we handle conflict differently? And what's the advantage in that? That's a good question. Much better questions than the ones you want to ask. Much better questions than the ones that I have heard. Okay. You don't need to know about that type of stuff. All right. All right. Yes, now we're down to the nitty gritty. We answering questions now because I want to talk about this. You want to talk about forgiving yourself, honey. Oh, that was my big thing, was trying to just go ahead and forgive myself for this. But okay, let me start with this. Forgiving yourself is the thing that is going to help you be able to do this. All right. If you want to work this out, if you want to reconcile, you're going to have to forgive yourself for wanting that because all of our society, other women, TV, movies, whatever, says he's a cheater, you should just leave him. And if you're not doing that, you're doing the wrong thing. I don't like women to be painted into any corners. If you want to make a choice about your life, You should be free to do that regardless of what the TV says, regardless of what the internet is saying, regardless about what these groups are talking about out here. What you want for your life is valid. It's important. All right. You get to have the life you choose to have, not the life that people are trying to hand to you. The life that people are trying to hand to you is here, this is a person that you consider your family. And so when something bad happens with your family, you just bail on that family. You just go ahead and do that. And it is perfectly excused. You can do that. You can feel free about that. And you're not even so supposed to feel guilty about that. You're not even supposed to feel bad about that. But what if that's not what you want to do? Isn't that going to make you feel bad anyhow? Aren't you going to give yourself a hard time and be unforgiving of yourself anyway if you choose to leave and that wasn't what you wanted to do in the first place? So you've got to stand tall in your decision for your life. If this is what you want to love and reconcile with this person, you've got to forgive yourself for that and go ahead and do it anyway. It does not matter that other people would judge you for it. That has never mattered. That has never been the point. The point is you living the life that you want to live. That's the point. All right. So that's why you should forgive yourself first and foremost. But I got a list. I got a whole list of them. You let me know if you got comments, questions about the things that are on this list. I can give you a whole bunch of reasons why you should forgive yourself. All right. Go back up here. Oh, I can't see myself on Facebook. Where am I at? Okay, there I am. All right, cool. All right. So I got pages. I done printed some stuff out for y'all. All right. So the first reason, besides the fact that it's going to help you stand strong in this whole healing process, is to forgive yourself. First thing is self-compassion. All right. Give yourself a damn break. All right. So what? You still love this person. So what? That is not wrong. It is not bad. Those are your feelings, and your feelings are valid, and you should be able to have them all you want to. So you should have some compassion for yourself for still loving this person. So if that's the case, you still love this person, that is coming from a place of love. It's not coming from anywhere negative. It's not coming from a place of fear. You love this person. You want to work this out. All right. You should be compassionate to yourself, understanding to yourself that that's how you feel. And you shouldn't beat yourself up about it. For what? What is the point of that? So you can just feel bad about the decision you want to make in the first place? Makes no sense. We've got to be really compassionate about ourselves, understand that being in that compassionate mindset is what's going to heal you. Being able to do that for yourself and then do it for him is going to be the thing that gets you to the healing. All right. So being compassionate, we need that on both sides. There's no reason for you not to forgive yourself. Another thing is it's personal growth. All right. Learning how to have that self compassion is personal growth. Learning how to forgive yourself is personal growth. Becoming stronger, becoming more resilient, letting down that wall and just going ahead and forgiving yourself for this whole situation anyway. That is growing as the woman that you are, as this main character that you are in this setting. You're supposed to do that. You're supposed to learn and grow and do more and do better. Just because somebody tells you, oh, no, that's so dangerous and he might cheat on you again. So what? I'm learning here. I'm growing here. I'm doing some things right now. I'm not going to sit here and concern myself with if I'm going to get hurt again as I'm growing. All growth hurts. Let's just go ahead and accept that from the very beginning. All growth hurts. You ever had a tooth grow in? All right. I am 6 feet tall. All right. I got to be 6 feet in a couple of years. That hurts. Okay. These bones inside my body growing and stretching, that hurt. So all growth is painful. So it's fine to experience that pain. There's nothing wrong with that. It is perfectly all right for you to experience the pain, get the growth out of it, get to a better place. That's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. Um, uh, Another one is emotional freedom. Another one is just freeing yourself from these negative emotions. I feel so bad about myself because I'm deciding to stay with somebody who cheated. Why do you have to feel bad about that? Why? Why? The only reason is it's misogynistic all the way around. Because well, if he isn't totally faithful to you, then you should feel bad. Why? That's his mistake. He did something wrong, not me. I shouldn't have to be emotionally weighed down and feel bad for trying to work out my relationship because he did something wrong. For what? Why? Why do I have to do that? Forgiving yourself frees you of those negative emotions. You don't have to keep on feeling the guilt and the self blame and all of that crap. You don't have to keep feeling it. You can free yourself up emotionally and choose to be with the person that you love. You can do that. Let's see. I mean, make sure I ain't got no questions. I keep talking. I can go on and on about this, honey. Make sure I don't have any questions in the meantime. I got like a couple more pages on this. I was writing down all the things that made sense to me. Like, there's a reason for you to forgive yourself, and it's all because it's going to help you. It's going to help you grow. It's going to get you to a different place. It's going to get you to a better place. Let's see. Oh, healthy relationships. A huge part of a relationship with another person that you love is forgiveness. All right. Huge part of it. And if you go ahead and forgive yourself, you will learn that skill for other people. And then you can have wonderful, healthy relationships with lots of other people because you have learned how to forgive a person, how to accept that a person is flawed, how to accept that, we feel things, we do things that we're not necessarily supposed to do, but we are all just people out here trying to do our best. I'm just a person trying to do my best. I can look at you and say that to you too. I can look at you and recognize you as a person out here trying to do your best. And that improves all your relationships. So it's all right to forgive yourself because it will teach you how to forgive other people. Um, Empowerment. Ooh, like I said, you're the main character of this story. You're the damn queen, okay? You got a lot of power taken from you when you had this trauma happen. But guess what? You can take some of it back by forgiving yourself, by saying, I am strong, I am powerful, I am making choices here that are for my best interest. What I choose to do, I am making these decisions for myself even in a situation where I did not have the power to make those decisions for myself. Now, all of the decisions, from right now on, I do have that power. And just going ahead and forgiving yourself and letting yourself not be defined by past mistakes by anybody, not just your own past mistakes. Not being defined by anybody's past mistakes is empowering. It is something that makes you feel free. And I want you to feel free. I want you to feel empowered. I want you to feel open and honest and forgiving and like you can let the wall down and get this love in your life. And along with that is like reclaiming your power. You have control over your life. And if you just stop beating yourself up about this, you could go about having a happy, wonderful relationship with this person like for the rest of your life. You could. You can control that. You can decide. That's why I only work with women. I only work with the women who have been in this trauma because time after time after time after time, I see that if you, whatever woman is looking at me right now, if you make the decision that you're going to take control of this relationship, you're going to make things better, you're going to heal, that's what happens. All right. That's the reason that I work with women instead of couples now. I used to work with couples on a very regular basis. Came to find out that these men don't actually help with the healing process. They're not the best at it, okay? They're just not. They're not going to be able to get you to where you need to be. And they're not going to be the reason that you heal. They're just not. You have control over that. And once you learn that, once you start focusing on that and letting that be your guiding light, that I have the power, I have the control to be able to heal myself, you get a whole lot farther, a whole lot faster. Okay, you start running down that healing path. Honoring your feelings. I touched on that a little bit in the very beginning. Your feelings are valid. Your feelings are valid. And if your feeling is, I love this person and I want to spend the rest of my life with them and I want to forgive them and I want our relationship to work out, that's fucking valid. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong or doormatish or, oh, pick me or anything about that. It is choosing the person that you love already. This person has already gotten that spot in your heart. You don't have to explain that. You don't have to try and make it be not so. These are your feelings. Your feelings are valid. You should be able to feel them all you want to without feeling in pain about it, without feeling like you're guilty of something that you're not. Um, Breaking the cycle. Oh, yeah. Forgiveness breaks that pattern in your brain. Okay. Your brain is trying to tell you that, oh, you are not safe. You are in a dangerous position. We are scared. Things are not going to go well. All right. You break that cycle in your brain, the cycle of the trauma. You interrupt that cycle. You tell your brain, no, no, I am making a good choice for myself. This is a choice that I want to make for my life. I am not going to be afraid of this decision. I am not going to be afraid. I am not going to be afraid that I'm going to be hurt because I made this decision. I already know growth comes with pain. So I'm going to break this cycle that is going on in my brain. I'm going to break this traumatized reaction or reactionary cycle that I have. Stop letting myself be triggered and just go on about my healing. I'm just going to do that. I'm going to break free of old habits. I'm going to get some new habits. I am going to change my life. You can do that. Break the cycle, stop your brain from just triggering off because you've been traumatized and get to that place, you know? All right, what else I got? Oh, setting an example. That's another great thing. Um, a lot of people ask me, well, am I supposed to let my children just see that I did this and I forgave this person? What kind of example is that am I showing to my children? And I always say, I'm like, you're showing them the example that bad things happen in relationships, but this is a person that I love. This is a person I consider to be my family, the same way that you consider your children to be your family. All right. It's a person I consider to be my family. It is okay for me to forgive them. I can forgive myself for forgiving them. I'm not doing anything wrong by forgiving somebody that I love, for somebody that is my family. That's the example that's showing your kids that I'm loving and I am deciding to forgive myself for still loving and going on ahead and just loving and forgiving this person because they're my family. All right. That is showing your children. Showing your children that, oh, when something bad happens, oh, I'm just going to run away. How is that helping them? How is that giving them any skills that they need for their life? You are showing them the process of talking things out, communicating, reconciling, getting close again. You are showing them that even if things have fallen off a cliff, things are going very badly, you can change what you do and make your relationship stronger. There is nothing wrong with showing your children that. There's nothing wrong with giving that example to other people. I love being that example for you all. I love that. I love to be the example to show you absolutely it is all right to forgive. And as you forgive, things get better and better and better. I love being able to show you that. All right. And you will be able to show other people that. That is the final stage, I think, of healing, the inspiration phase, being able to show other people what it is to love and forgive. All right. I think that that's the best possible place that you could get to. So I love being able to do that for you, and I want you to be able to show that to other people. All right. And then the last thing is just living your life authentically, living and being who you really are. If who you really are is the person that wants to stay in this relationship and you try and make yourself not stay in the relationship, you're doing yourself more damage than the person did to you. If you know that about yourself, live authentically. Live and be exactly who you really are. Don't hide yourself. Don't try and adjust what you do for other people's judgment. You should forgive yourself because you are a person who needs to live authentically, who needs to have that life. All right. You need it. You do. And there's nothing wrong with you going for it. There's nothing wrong with you knowing authentically who you are and pursuing that, being that person. There's nothing wrong with that. What matters to you matters. And if this person matters to you, forgive yourself for that. All right. They just are the person that means something to you. I had to just get over that. I just had to let myself be forgiven for the fact that he makes my heart pitter patter. Okay. Damn, he just does. Okay. He does it for me in all ways, shapes, and forms, physically, mentally, spiritually. The man does it for me. I had to just forgive myself for that. I just had to go ahead and do it. I had to forgive myself for wanting to forgive him in the first place. And once I did that, that was a strong space to start from for my own healing. Because then that's not a question anymore. And that's not one of those things that your brain can make you doubt. Well, what about the fact that he hurt you and you're accepting it? And yes, I am. And I have forgiven myself for that. If it's a bad idea, I'm just gonna have to be shown that it's a bad idea. But in the meantime, I'm gonna heal. That's what I'm gonna do. All right. So that all of my reasons. I had to sit down and write them down because I was like, I got a lot of reasons why you should forgive yourself. Does that make sense to all of you? Let me know. I've been talking quite a bit. You let me know if you got questions on that, if that makes sense to you. If you're like, no, it doesn't make any sense whatsoever, let me know. All right, got one more question. We were going to talk about the anniversary reaction. Oh, the anniversary reaction, buddy. I'm trying to tell you, Joni, I think you were having a hard time with that. About a year out from whatever trauma it is, you're going to have to expect to have an anniversary reaction. Now, that first year sucks. That first year is bad. First year, all you can do is remember what happened last year. All right. Things that will trigger you. All right. That are coming up that you can do something about when you're having an anniversary coming up. First thing you can do is go into your settings on Facebook. I think it's the three dots. All right. It's settings. And I think it's privacy. Go to your settings and tell your Facebook that you don't want to see pictures from last year. You don't want to see pictures from this time period last year. It triggers the hell out of you just when they pop up on their own. You just let the computer know that you don't want that, and it won't show you those pictures. Same thing for your, if you got on my phone, like Google Photos shows me, oh, this time last year, so it starts showing me like a week or two before that change of the year. And so you start seeing all these pictures from times before, and it starts to throw you off. So you can actually go into the settings of that and tell it not to do that too. All right, that's two places where unsolicited memories may pop up on you for the anniversary reaction. Most of the time with the anniversary reaction, it's a thing that happens with PTSD. You've been traumatized, and then when things start looking and feeling and sounding like they did a year ago. Because in about a year, things are about the same as they were then. And so your brain picks up on those cues. Your brain picks up on, oh, the flowers outside were blooming and they were falling into the driveway. The what's another thing? It rained. Now here it rains. It wrote that in the springtime. It rained so hard and it was a terrible storm, and it's a terrible storm this week. It starts reminding you because so many things happen that happened back then. So all you got to do when you're having this anniversary reaction is to pay attention. All right. First of all, pay attention to your body. You'll know if you're triggered by what your body is doing. Most of the time, people do not pick up on the idea in their head that they are triggered until they're really, really triggered. They're having a hard time. If you go to your body, a lot of the time your body will tell you you're triggered before your brain does. All right. Go and look at the places in your body where you feel it the most when you are triggered. Everybody's got a different spot. For me, it's like right here. It twists and it drops. Every time I'm feeling triggered, every time I'm feeling anxious, it's that same feeling right here in the center of my chest, and it goes down to about here, which is like your solar plexus. All right. Also, your stomach is actually right here. So that's what you're feeling. It could be rushing in your head. It could be sweaty palms. It could be beating up sweat on your face. There are all sorts of ways your body tells you that you are triggered, that adrenaline is pumping through your system, that your cortisol levels are higher, that your blood pressure and your pulse are getting up there. You've got to recognize the thing for you. And when you feel that thing, you got to do something about it. You got to do your deep breathing. You got to do your journaling. You've got to calm yourself. You've got to go for a run. If you're feeling all that excess energy, go run around your house for a little while. Do something physical that will help you to get rid of that anxiety. Um, Rage rooms are great, and if you can't afford a rage room or there's not one near you, honey, break some stuff from the thrift store, okay? Breaking stuff from little teacups and saucers from the thrift store got me through a whole bunch of hard times, all right? If you do that, if you pay attention to what your body is telling you, you will know what's coming up. You will know that you're starting to feel anxious. You can start to gather yourself. You can start to bring that feeling down. And then it's not so much suffering through everything as the anniversary comes up. Take back the day. If you are knowing a particular day is coming up and it's going to be hard for you, take that day back. Go do something fun with your honey. Make it be that you are in a more joyful place than you were last year. What's the saying? Go laugh where you've cried. All right, and change that narrative, change that scenario to a thing where you're remembering the good instead of the bad. Next year, you won't be remembering 2 years ago. You'll be remembering last year. And last year, I took that time and we did a lot of self-care and we had a great time together and things were doing well. Now you've replaced that negative memory with a more positive memory, and um our memories only work about the last time we remembered something. So if you're remembering something, you are not remembering the time when it happened. You're remembering the last time you remembered it. Okay? Does that make sense? So it is real easy to replace memories, because if you on that day, you pick that day and you fill it up with good stuff and you change that memory, you can remember, yeah, a couple of years ago it was a really hard time. I was crying on that day, but last year it was a good day and we had a good time together and things worked well and we were showing each other lots and lots of love and affection, and that's what happened the last time. All right. So couple things that you can do about an anniversary reaction. It sucks. It really does. It's a PTSD thing, but you can do something about it. You can help yourself get to a better place. All right. Oh goodness. Do we have any other questions, comments, thoughts, complaints? Selena was asking about um how not to be bitter after finally letting go with him. Selena, if it's going to make you bitter, don't. Just forgive yourself for wanting to be with him. Forgive yourself for loving him. Forgive yourself for him not being Prince Charming. And just go ahead and be together. Like, if it's going to make you bitter to be without this person, why do it? Why do that to yourself? You don't have to. You don't have to let them go. I'm here to tell you, I know a lot of people probably told you, oh, yes, girl, you should kick him to the curb. And I don't know why you're still with him. You should just let him go. And if you're having a hard time with letting him go, you don't want to do that. So don't. You know what I mean? Like, I couldn't get all, I asked you, since I specialize in staying together, I got to ask, like, if it makes you bitter, then why do it? And that's how I feel about it. Why do it? If it's making you bitter, if it's not what you really, really want, then don't do it. If it is what you really want, if you do not want to be with him any longer, it is making you feel happy and at peace, then you need to remind yourself that it's making you feel happy and at peace. We are not bitter about this. We made a choice for our life and we decided that he was not going to make the cut anymore. If that's the case, then that's the case. You made that choice. There's no need for you to be bitter about it now. You can be, I mean, if you want to, you could be bitter about him not coming to the level that you wanted him to. Is that what it is? Is you're saying you finally let him go. So to me, that says, I'll tell you from what I read, to me, that says that you were waiting for him to change. You were waiting for him to fix it. You were waiting for him to be better. And then you just kept looking at him and you're like, you're not doing it. You're not doing enough. Okay, fine. I'm just going to let you go. But you don't have to do it like that. You don't have to wait for him to heal. You start healing and then he heals too. You heal together. All right. You don't have to let him go. So I'm assuming from some things because he didn't get back to me yet, but that's what I'm assuming. So Selena, you let me know. Hopefully you can meet up with us next week so you and I can talk about it. But if you are gonna be bitter about it, then it's obviously not a choice you wanted to make. Don't make that choice. All right. Makes sense? Hope that makes sense. All right, y'all. I think that's about it. Y'all got any other questions, comments, thoughts, complaints, anything you want to talk about? Let me know. Don't see anything else. So I'll go on and talk to you about your affirmations. Have you been doing affirmations? Can you please do some affirmations? I need you to do this for yourself, okay? I have a whole list of things that we are supposed to be doing for ourselves to help with this trauma, and affirmations are a big one. Affirmations help you with the negative thoughts that come with trauma. When you've been traumatized, your brain will tell you that, oh, you're awful because this awful thing happened to you. If you're doing your affirmations, your brain can't keep telling you that. You have record in your brain of you saying to yourself, looking yourself in the eye and saying to yourself that you're not bad, you're a wonderful person, you're a loving, wonderful woman, and this bad thing happened, but that is not your fault. All right? So I want you to be doing this. Do your affirmations. You can look up, Google them. You can Google affirmations. You can get a ton of them off the internet all the time. All right? Just be doing them consistently. Look yourself in the eye. Tell yourself with conviction. Whatever it is, tell yourself like you mean it with all your little heart. Okay? So this one is, I think I did that one the other day, but that's all right. That's all right. Today is a fresh start. I like that one. That is a good affirmation. Today is a fresh start. Today is a brand new day that I will embrace as a new beginning and make the most of this day. You can do that. You can do that. You can decide that right now. Today is a fresh start and go on ahead and live your life like that. You can do that. You can make that choice. You have that power. You have that control. All you got to do is step into it. All right. So today is a fresh start. Today is a brand new day that I will embrace as a new beginning and make the most of this day. All right. Well, make the most of this day by clicking on the link and going and getting your copy of The Dreams Formula. I definitely want to see you breaking that open, reading about that, looking at the Dreams Formula, looking at these steps to go through down the healing path. And then I want you to message me and tell me about it and talk to me about it and let me help you down the healing path. All right. All right, y'all. I think that is about it. That's all I got. I don't see any other questions, comments. I think that's about it. So that's all for today. I will be back again with you next week, Thursday, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for the Healing Hour Live. In the meantime, do your deep breathing, do your journaling, do your gratefulness practice. Stop asking all those damn questions and do your affirmations, okay? In the meantime, I love you and I'm so, so proud of you for doing this, for forgiving yourself, for forgiving others. I'm proud of you for that. It's a remarkable thing you're doing, and you should be proud of yourself for doing it. All right? All right, y'all. That's about it. I will see you again next week, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for the Healing Hour Live. Bye. Bye, Instagram. And bye, Facebook and YouTube.